In the tumultuous, feudal age of Japan, amidst the clash of steel and the shifting loyalties of warring clans, there was a force more powerful than any army and more enduring than any emperor. It was an unwritten law, a spiritual compass, and a sacred vow. For a samurai, there was no higher law than the code of Bushido. It was not a set of rules, but a way of life, a doctrine etched into the very soul of every warrior. Bushido, a term that literally translates to the way of the warrior, was far more than a simple code of conduct. It was a philosophy that blended the martial traditions of Japan with the spiritual serenity of Zen Buddhism and the ethical principles of Confucianism. It was a vow of honor, of unwavering loyalty, and of ultimate sacrifice, a promise that a samurai would live and die not for himself, but for his master, his family, and his honor. A samurai was not simply born, he was painstakingly forged. From the moment he could walk, a young boy's life was dedicated to the pursuit of martial excellence. He trained relentlessly in kenjutsu, swordsmanship, mastering the art of the katana. He practiced kyudo, archery, learning to fire a bow with a stillness of mind that was as important as his aim. His body was honed into a weapon, but his mind was sharpened just as his blade was. He was taught to find peace in meditation, to appreciate the fleeting beauty of a cherry blossom, and to accept the inevitability of death. For a samurai, the concept of honor was absolute. It was the air they breathed, the foundation of their existence. To lose honor, to commit an act of cowardice, betrayal, or failure, was worse than any physical death. The shame of such an act could only be cleansed through a final, solemn ritual known as seppuku, ritual suicide. This act, often misunderstood in the West as a desperate surrender, was in fact a profound and sacred act of redemption. It was a final, defiant demonstration of courage and discipline, a way for a samurai to regain his honor and choose the manner of his death, even in defeat. It was a choice, not of defeat, but of ultimate, unflinching control. Bushido was built upon 7 core virtues, a framework for a righteous life. Each one was an absolute, a pillar upon which the samurai's world was built. Rectitude, GI, the belief in justice and moral integrity. A samurai must be honest and fair in all dealings. Courage, U, not just in battle, but in the face of fear and injustice. It was about having the bravery to stand for what is right. Benevolence, Jin, compassion and mercy, especially towards those weaker than oneself. Respect, Rei, courtesy and politeness, even to one's enemies. A true samurai fought with respect, honesty, Makoto. The truth was absolute. When a samurai said they would do something, it was as good as done. Honor, Meiyo. A deep-seated sense of dignity and respect for oneself and one's family. Loyalty, Chugi, the most important virtue of all. Unwavering loyalty to one's master, even unto death. One of the most famous and haunting examples of this fierce loyalty is the legendary tale of the 47 Ronin. In the early 18th century, their master, Lord Asano, was forced to commit seppuku for drawing his sword in Edo Castle, an unforgivable offense. His samurai were cast out, becoming Ronin, masterless warriors, a life of profound shame. But their loyalty endured, a burning ember in their hearts. For over a year they dispersed, living as merchants, monks, and laborers, planning in secret, patiently waiting for their moment. They waited for the anger of the shogun to cool, for the enemy, a man named Kira, to lower his guard. And then, in the dead of winter, on a cold and snowy night, they struck. They stormed Kira's mansion, beheading him, and delivering his head to their master's tomb. Their revenge was complete. Their honor was restored, but they knew the consequence. They turned themselves in, and all 47 of them were ordered to commit seppuku. Their loyalty was fulfilled, even unto death, cementing their place as the ultimate embodiment of Bushido. But the code was not just for men. There were women who wielded the blade with equal ferocity and honor. The most legendary of them all was TOMOE GOZEN, a female samurai, or onabugeisha, in a world ruled by men. She was a force of nature, a warrior so skilled that she rode into battle with unmatched ferocity, her sword decapitating foes in single lightning-fast strokes. She wasn't just a symbol, she was a storm in armor, a testament to the fact that Bushido was not bound by gender, but by the fire and discipline of the human spirit. Her fearlessness became legend, inspiring generations and proving that honor was a path open to all who dared to walk it. In the twilight of the samurai age, as Japan began to industrialize and open its doors to the West, came the man often called the last true samurai, Saigo Takamori. He was a general, a leader, and a man who fought not for personal power, but to uphold honor and the ancient ways in a rapidly changing Japan. When the samurai class was abolished and their feudal lords stripped of power, Saigo led a final, desperate rebellion. Outnumbered and outgunned by the emperor's modern army, his forces were crushed at the Battle of Shiroyama. Surrounded and defeated, he refused to surrender. He chose seppuku over shame, becoming a martyr to the fading world of the samurai and an enduring symbol of a life lived by principle. The clash between tradition and modernity was never more evident than at the Battle of Nagashino in 1575. Here, the proud samurai, charging on horseback with swords drawn, met a new, terrifying enemy for the first time: firearms. The disciplined ranks of charging cavalry were cut down by volleys of arquebuses, a brutal demonstration of efficiency over honor. Bushido survived the bullets, but the world was changing. The sword was being replaced by the gun, and the code of the warrior would soon have to find a new home. Yet Bushido was never just about war. It was about how one lived in peace. A true samurai was a man of culture and deep thought. He valued poetry and the art of the tea ceremony as much as he valued combat. He practiced calligraphy and appreciated the beauty of nature. Honor extended beyond the battlefield. It permeated every aspect of his life. He was a scholar and a warrior, a poet and a soldier, all at once. As modern Japan emerged and the era of the samurai ended, Bushido didn't vanish. It simply transformed. Its principles lived on, shaping the nation's character. The virtues of discipline, loyalty, and honor found new expression in the world of business, in politics, and in the national spirit. It became the backbone of a modern society, a silent and powerful echo from a warrior past. Today, Bushido is more than a relic of a bygone era. It is a haunting echo from the past, a philosophical doctrine that speaks to the timeless struggle of living a life of purpose and integrity. It reminds us that even in death, there can be honor, and in honor, an eternal life. So the next time you hear the word samurai, remember that their power wasn't in the strength of their swords, their armor, or their horses. It was in the strength of their soul, bound by the unbreakable code of Bushido.
If history leaves you curious and craving more, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Join us on the journey through time, one forgotten echo at a time.